Hello and welcome. This day has finally arrived. I'm so excited. I can't be more excited than to share with you the opportunity for the VIP early registration here at Elections Academy. I'm just super excited and thrilled to be able to share with you the information that you're going to get as you become a member now of the Elections Academy, and how I get to share my knowledge, my expertise, my 26 years of activity and involvement in the political process with you. My name is Sean McGrath, and just to give you a sense, I've been involved in politics since 1989, and I've had the opportunity to not just work within the political operation and the political apparatus itself, but I've also been able to work as an elected representative. So I've worked as an elected official, as well as a campaign manager and a strategic advisor to politicians and individuals that are running for office. And what I've discovered is this: there's a difference between campaigning and governing. And the governing side is really what you're looking to do. If you're a candidate right now and you desire to come in and serve your community or your district or your state or your nation, you have a heart for service, and that's fantastic. What I've discovered through this process over the years is that I like the service part, but I really like the other side of politics, and that is the campaigning side. Campaigning is a little bit more strategy. It's a little bit more involvement with one-on-one with candidates, but helping them to develop their skill sets to be able to get elected, to build up their brand awareness, if you will. And that's really where I have focused on persuasion techniques, on how do you effectively communicate an idea that you have to be able to go out and impact people's lives, to positively influence the quality of their lives. How? By using words and by phrasing things in certain ways. And that's what campaigning is all about. So that's what I'm excited to share with you. And that's why I'm so excited to be a part of the National Political Elections Academy, to be able to teach and train and do exactly what I love to do. And you're here today to be able to sign up for this cutting-edge program. And this cutting-edge program is called the Pathways to Power Membership Program. Let me just share with you briefly what this is, how it works, how we do what it is we do in terms of our delivery model, and why you want to get involved right now. First and foremost, what is it? It's a 12-month membership program. So what this is it gives you access, membership program. This gives you access to myself and to other leading experts who are out there right now helping people get elected. This program is going to give you 12 months of unparalleled access to people who know about campaigning. And what specifically are we going to cover during these next 12 months? Well, that's the how piece. And so what we're really going to cover, and this, I'm going to break this down for you right now. Number one, we're going to cover messaging strategies. Number one, we're going to cover messaging strategies. How is it for you as a candidate, or for you as someone who has never been involved in the participated in the political process before? How do I take the ideas that I have for better governance, for our better future, for the ways in which I believe we can manage our finances better, or manage our community better, or manage the resources that we have better in our local community or in our nation? How do I get that idea out of my head and into the constituents, the people in the community, so that they understand, number one, that they fall in love with my idea and my ability to effectively carry out that idea, and then number three is to motivate them to vote for me. See, it's not just that we have to get our message out. You've got to get your message out in such a way that inspires and motivates them to take action on your behalf, which ultimately means vote for you. But sometimes that also means helping you raise money, helping you get involved in your campaign, helping you carry out that idea. Look, no one builds this dream alone. The dream takes teamwork, and that's exactly what messaging strategy will help you do. So what we do on messaging side, we're going to spend just a number of months talking about how do I effectively communicate one-on-one? How do I communicate in a small group? How do I communicate my expertise in a large group? How do I talk to the media today, especially in today's day and age where the media is so important? You have to be be able to communicate effectively in sound bites. You have to be able to communicate effectively in 9-second, 6-second clips and get your message out. But also, in today's social media environment, you've got to know how to effectively communicate by way of social media in such a way that you don't hinder yourself, if you know what I mean. In other words, you have a lot of people using social media and they're not using it right, and social media can be unforgiving. And so you have to really know what the pitfalls are in social media messaging, and we cover that in depth when it comes to messaging. We also are going to talk about this important concept, and this especially if you've never run before, you'll get this immediately. If you've run before, you'll totally understand. You've got to be able to contrast yourself, your message, your campaign with anybody else that's running for that particular office, with your opposition. A contrast message is so vitally important. And so we're going to spend some time on how do I first and foremost frame my campaign in such a way that makes sense, that's memorable in the eyes of the voters, number one. But number two, how do I contrast that with the other folks that are running for this exact same position that I'm running for? That's all part of the messaging strategy. So we're going to cover that in depth. And we're going to bring on some experts to help you to sort of see what they've done in the past, see what worked, what didn't work, how did they effectively incorporate their message and their contrast message throughout their entire campaign, throughout their literature, throughout their videos, throughout their audios, throughout their interviews, throughout their one-on-one sessions, throughout their community sessions, throughout the public forums and debates, if they have debates, etc. We're going to cover all that stuff for you. So when you do have the opportunity to go out and speak in a debate format or in a forum format, you're going to go in there confident, knowing that you're going to get your message and be able to deliver it in a powerful way. Why? Because we've gone through that, and you're going to use all the strategies and tips and techniques that we have in here and be able to apply those into your campaign. You'll come out just looking like an expert when it comes to messaging. Most importantly, you won't make the wrong message. So again, the wrong message, all it takes is one bad message, and that can derail your campaign pretty radically. So the first how, or the first thing that we're going to cover, or one portion of this whole program that we're going to cover over the next 12 months, is messaging. Number two are media strategies. Again, strategies specifically dealing with the media. How do I communicate using the media, like we talked about with messaging, the contrast piece. Media piece is vitally important to, again, your entire campaign. And then the third piece, of course, is money. Money plays such a dominant role in campaigns today. You just have to know how to effectively go out and raise money. And do so in a way that doesn't compromise your integrity, that isn't slimy, but it allows you to raise the money that you need necessary to amplify your message out into the marketplace. And so that's what we have to do. And that's what we spend a lot of time on. You're going to learn this concept called the Donor Dream 250 strategy. My clients have paid me upwards of $20,000 and $30,000 for one-on-one client consulting services. We've gone through this Donor Dream 250 strategy. You're going to get it as part of a member here in the Pathways to Power Mentorship Program. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the Donor Dream 250 concept. How do you implement it? How do you utilize it in your campaign over time? And that is a strategy, by the way. The Donor Dream 250 is not a strategy you just implement once. It's a strategy that you start with, you build it out over time, and over time it positions you extraordinarily well. So messaging strategies, we're going to talk about that in depth. Media strategies, we're going to talk about that in depth. Money strategies, we're going to talk about that in depth. And if you want to add one other piece, it's what do you do to get votes? We're going to talk really in depth on how do you target the right audience? How do you communicate and connect with that right audience in such a way that motivates them to take action on your behalf on election night? Because ultimately, that's what it's all about, is to not only enhance your identity in the marketplace, not only to position you as the right choice, and in fact, we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. We're going to position you as the only logical choice to win the position that you desire. So that's really what we're going to do, right? And then we need to get those people who are seeing you in that way, who are plugged in and excited and alive with your message. We want to get them and make sure that they, number one, come out and vote, but number two, motivate other people to go out and vote on your behalf as well. So that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about the how. That's what we're going to get over the course of these next several months. The second portion of how, though, is How are we going to deliver that? Well, number one is I love to teach, so I'm going to be teaching you on a monthly basis. I'm going to cut a video where I personally teach you the core concept of whatever it is that we're talking about that month. So this month we may be talking about contrast messaging, and I'm going to give you several examples of contrast messages that have worked. So number one, I'm going to teach you myself. Then we're going to interview an expert. We're going to interview other people who are out there specifically dealing with just that one topic that we're talking about that month. And I'm going to interview that expert, and you're going to have access to that interview directly through our membership site. The second thing you're going to be able to do, though, is leave questions and answers. So every single month, as questions come up about the training that you got for that month, you're going to be able to leave your questions in there. And I'm not going to be able to answer all the questions. Look, the price of this is so incredibly low that we're going to have so many members in there. It wouldn't be feasible for me to, I'd literally be down there all day if I had to answer everybody's questions. But what I'm going to do is find the questions that I think are the broadest questions that affect the majority of the people, and we'll be able to answer those questions in our live sessions. So once a month, you'll get access to an expert, you'll get the personal training from me, and then every other week I get on there and answer questions, the most pertinent questions that are left as it relates to that one piece. And those are all recorded, so you're going to have access to that 24/7. You'll be able to get there anytime you want. The third thing that you're going to get, of course, are resources. Kind of like what we gave out earlier during this launch phase, this book, the Strategic Fundraising Guide for Political Organizations, or How to Raise $100,000 at Your Next Planned Event. These kind of resources, which are invaluable, you're going to get access to. How do you create a campaign plan that covers all the bases? What I talk about is the 7-sentence campaign plan that you can use as a leave behind to help you raise more money. You're going to get access to all that as part of our resources section. And up until now, like I said, you wouldn't even get that up until now unless you paid me $20,000 to $30,000, whatever my fees are, depending on the size of your raise. You're going to have access to it as part of the membership of the Pathways to Power program. Now, why would you want to be a part of this? I'll tell you why. If your goal is to serve at the highest levels, which is really number 2, in order for you to really be effective at reaching out and positively influencing the quality of people's lives in your district or in your state or in the nation as a whole, you have to win first. You've got to be at the table of power if you hope to influence and shape the direction of our country or the direction of your community. Well, how do you do that? The only way you're going to do that is by becoming the only logical choice in the mind of the voters and in the mind of the people in your community. Especially as you rise in the ranks through the echelons of power, there's more people competing for fewer and fewer positions of power. And you want to distinguish yourself as the only logical choice in the mind of the voters for that position. If you can get there, that's golden, folks, and that's exactly what I'm going to help you to arrive at this place. Why? So that you can serve at the highest levels that you deserve to serve at. Because I know that if you're in this, if you're being called right now, if you feel like that you're being called to serve your community or to serve your district or to serve the nation as a whole, you're emanating from a source in you that comes from service. It's that desire to serve, that desire to lead. Leadership is just that. It's providing good service. That's that servant's heart, and that's exactly what you can get, again, if you're positioned as the only logical choice to win the election that you're at. And then the third thing, of course, is, or the third why as to why you want to plug into this, is authority. Authority, right? You want to create for yourself a position of authority in the eyes of the electorate and in the eyes of the community as a whole. You've got to have a position and an air of authority about you. How do you become that? How do you position yourself as an expert? That's what we're going to talk about, and that's ultimately what we're going to do. Is this easy? No. Nothing good ever comes easy. Is it worth it? Absolutely it's worth it. And so this is ultimately why I'm encouraging you today to sign up now so that you can take all this vision that you have for a better future and that you can apply it into your campaign, that you can put all the elements together so that you can go out there and positively influence the quality of people's lives. I want to help you do that. I'm excited to help you do that. This is what I live for. It's my passion. It's what I've been studying for the last, 20 some odd years, as you guys know. It's just what I love to do, and so I'm so excited to be a part of this with you and to be on this journey with you as you journey from where you're at today to where you want to be tomorrow. The lifestyle that you're going to attain is just incredible. I can tell you, it feels great to be in front of just 20 and 30 and 40 cameras that are all asking you questions. Why? Because you're the expert. They want to know what's going on in your thoughts, in your mind, and how you envision taking us from where we are today to where we should be tomorrow. That's the kind of lifestyle I want for you. And that's the kind of lifestyle I want to help you create. I'm so excited to do it. And how can I do it? Is through the Pathways to Power Membership Program. As you can see, the registration is available below. Let me tell you how insanely low this price is. When you get signed up today on this VIP registration, it's $197 for the year. Period. There's no other hidden fees, nothing else. I mean, it's $197. It's not... Like I said, if you were to hire me one-on-one, you're going to pay at least $20,000 just to get me started. My retainer fee alone is $5,000, right? And I'm talking for some of the lower level races. So you have access, unlimited access to me at $197. It's an absolute no-brainer. And for those of you that have a campaign, you can pay for it through campaigning dollars, so it doesn't even come out of your pocket. We've decided consciously to bring the price low. Why? Because we want everyone to have access to this. Sometimes elected officials get into this business and money starts pouring into elected officials, and they have an unfair competitive advantage. Why? Because number one, they have access to experts like me, and number two, they know well enough to get them, to secure them, and to sign them up on their campaigns, and to lock them in, and you can't get access to them. Well, now we're going to flip that upside down. For those of you that are just, like I said, you've got a vision, you've got a heart for service, and you've got this desire to go out there and make this world a better place. You now have access to all this information, and I can't wait to share it with you. So sign up right now. It's $197 a year. Super simple. I guarantee this is going to have so much of an impact and so much of a blessing in your campaign and in your life. So take action now. Get plugged in right now. Let's get you on the inside. Let's get you through our orientation process. And let's start getting this information into your hands right now so you can go out and have a very powerful and impactful campaign, and that you can go out there and actually implement the ideas that you have on how to better make this community work. I'm so excited, once again, for you to plug in, to be a part of this program. I can't wait to mentor you and to work with you and to help you shape your campaign, your program, your message, your media, your strategy, and everything else. So take time right now, get plugged in, get signed up, get on the inside, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside.